Today is the last week of July, and what I thought I'd do today is to go ahead and prune this Japanese boxwood. Now, we're not going to do anything extreme because of the weather. This is part of the hedge that surrounded the old swimming pool. Well, the estate was purchased by one of the heart surgeons from Sacramento, and I was doing work for him. I spent 3-4 years working with the doctor on and off. Well, this one was, he was almost in the middle of summer. He decided that he wanted to change this whole section. Well, he wanted all the hedges out, and then we ended up having to jackhammer parts of the old swimming pool. Well, anyway, back to this boxwood. So I had my crew dig it out and throw it in the back of the truck. And luckily it was, I think, either Thursday or Friday. So I proceeded to put it in the ground at home because I had no room and I have not started my bonsai nursery yet. So I just had it planted in the ground. And then about 10 years later, I decided I'm going to do a bonsai nursery, so I started digging those up. Anyway, so this is roughly 90 years old, and I've been working on this one probably about 15 years, 20 years. Some of my others I got started earlier, so they've been in training for more like 30. So anyway, this one is relatively young, considering how old the tree is. So anyway, before I forget, if you ever have a chance to help dig out a Japanese boxwood hedge and they don't want it, take it home. Because I remember this was dug out in the middle of the summer, I think either late June or July, and I wasn't sure if it's going to make it, especially since we were just yanking them out, but they all made it. So anyway, it's a quite hardy plant, and I'll go ahead and do the summer pruning technique. So basically, we're not restyling or making major changes. I just want to keep this in check. And so most of the time in the summer, especially still with plenty of heat on the way, we've had, I think, 3 heat waves already with record-breaking temperatures. Today is relatively cool. It's only going to be in the 90s, but in another day or two, I think it's going to go up to 103, which is less than 110 or 112 that we've had already this year. Well, this year has been tough on a lot of different people. I feel sorry for people in Portland who got the record heat of 116, and I worry about the gardens there. They have both the great Japanese garden and probably one of the most rare is the Chinese garden there. And I don't think they have been acclimated to our kind of weather. So if we had the 116, a few things would burn, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as if they were always in the 90s. Yeah, acclimation is so difficult. Well, it's okay. Like for me, I've grown most everything from scratch here, so they're acclimated to our weather. We get highs. I wouldn't be surprised if it got up to 116 here, although not very often. 105, 110 is kind of a common occurrence. And then in the cold end, we just get slightly below our freezing point, so it might get into the high 20s, but very seldom much lower than that. So you notice that I'm just kind of taking it easy, just getting rid of those things that grew back, and try not to do anything drastic at this point. Okay, this is being grown in a shade structure with 50% shade. Now, boxwoods will grow in sun, but they will not maintain this lush greenness when it's grown in the sun. They struggle a little bit with yellow foliage. Well, I guess if it's in the ground, it's not so much, but as a bonsai, what happens is the root zone gets warm, so it does a little bit more extreme outlook, I guess is the best word for it. Well, a lot of people say I shouldn't read the comments because I guess they could get nasty sometimes. But I don't know. My followers seems to be very nice. Okay, there's a few that have corrected me in some of the stuff that I have done and talked about. But hey, nothing to the point where it's going to stress me out or quit looking at my reviews and comments. I really do appreciate it, and I would say 95% is pure positive. Occasionally I say, what are you talking about? Well, some of the comments I used to get was about hearing only in 1 year. Well, you know, when I started doing this, I was doing it, well, I started about 15 years ago. And at the time, we were using analog TV and things like that. So, yeah, my equipment was not stereophonic, I think. So, when you use the earbuds, you only hear on one side. But it was meant for this TV, analog TV with a DVD player in it. And if you go back to my old one and listen that way, it was fine. But I think all my recent postings is been with my new camera outfit, and so I don't get that comment anymore about my 1 year is lonesome. Well, even that was on the sweet side, you know. It's not like it was a nasty comment. They just said 1 year was a little on the lonesome side. So anyway, I do read your comments until I get to the point where people start sending me a lot of nasty. But like I said, I really haven't had that, and I really appreciate the fact that the people that's watching are really nice people, I think. Okay, now it's a little bit better looking, but I don't want to go too much deeper than that in terms of cut. If it was early in the year, this side, I think I would go ahead and open that up a little bit more. And I actually want to see it so that it goes a little bit wider. Though this branch here may or may not be a permanent keeper. If the one above it gets longer, it might be able to dip down and take up that space. So even these really old ones, it might change with time. I could see in a couple years maybe doing a restyle and take some of these branches out and change kind of the configuration of the tree. But today was only about how to trim in the middle of summer. So this will go back into that well protected area and continue to grow. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. So this was one of the old Japanese boxwoods that became a bonsai more recently than 90 years. Okay, see you again real soon. Bye.